Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome all of you to the 6th edition of the Hindu Lit for Life. What began as an idea to celebrate the best of Indian writing in English in 2010 has now come to stand for a festival that holds a premier place among the growing number of literature festivals in India. We begin with the traditional lighting of the lamp. I would like to call on stage Mr. N. Ram, Chairman, the Hindu Group of Publications, Dr. NirmalaLakshman, Director, the Hindu Group of Publications and the Director, Lit for Life, Mr. Rajiv C. Lochan, MD and CEO, the Hindu Group of Publications, and Mr. Salim Youssef, General Manager, Taj Coromandel, Area Director, Chennai. I request the dignitaries to assemble for the lighting of the lamp. I would now request Dr. NirmalaLakshman to welcome the gathering.
Good morning, and a very warm welcome to Lit for Life 2016, the Hindus' annual festival of literature. This year, we come together after an extraordinarily difficult time for the city of Chennai. The recent floods and rains that ravaged the city left a trail of destruction, causing untold suffering and the loss of human lives. Remarkably, the citizens of this city, regardless of caste and creed, came together to help rebuild a broken city. The festival this year commemorates this larger community with 2 special collaborative sessions focusing on what happened during the storms and to look at solutions and ideas that will sustain and heal our society. The 6th edition of the Hindu Lit for Life is therefore dedicated to the spirit and the people of Chennai. We also continue to stand behind the writers and thinkers who have been assaulted and attacked personally and have had their work censored and their voices silenced over the last year. Just as this festival demonstrated spontaneous and huge support and defense for the writer Perumal Murugan last year, this year too we affirm our commitment as a body to free speech and free expression. I believe that festivals such as these must always be forums where such freedoms are upheld and defended. We have a world-class lineup of distinguished writers and speakers whom we warmly welcome to our 3-day program and look forward to an enriching interaction with them. I'm very grateful to them all for making time to come to the festival, and I invite you to attend the 3 days to discuss, challenge, and to celebrate words and ideas with some of the finest minds from India and abroad. As a newspaper, The Hindu has a long tradition of providing a platform for the arts, for culture and literature, and Lit for Life carries forward this tradition by actively engaging directly with our readers. The growing number of people who attend this festival is an affirmation to us of its continuing success, and we hope this year to carry forward an energetic agenda with interactive sessions and panel discussions. The Hindu Prize for Best Fiction of the Year will be awarded tomorrow afternoon. Instituted in 2010 to celebrate 20 years of the Hindu Literary Review, it has been strengthened each year by quality submissions and by the vetting by an independent panel of judges who read numerous books, arrive at a shortlist, and later choose a winner. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our eminent panel of judges for their efforts and for taking up this onerous task. I must mention that the Hindu has no part to play in this selection process. This is an independent exercise, but is part of the Hindu's larger commitment to support creativity and excellence in writing in India. The program for the next 3 days has been meticulously fashioned and carefully put together by Rachna Singh Davidar and Prasanna Ramaswamy. I cannot thank them enough for their vision, their expertise, and for their total commitment to our collective dream for Lit for Life and for making many of those dreams come true. I'd like to express my deepest gratitude to my wonderful colleagues, especially to Shalini Arun, Kritika R, Lata Ganapati, for making this exciting festival happen. They have been ably assisted by a team of young people who have worked very hard every single day over the past several months tirelessly and with unfailing enthusiasm to bring this festival to life. We have volunteers who have come forward to help us, right from providing logistical support to announcing and shepherding each session, and we have student bloggers and others who have helped to sustain this festival. I also thank Satya Sriram, our brand and strategy head, for her help and her constant support. This event could not be possible without our sponsors who have come forward generously to support the event, underscoring the fact that the value of literature and books lies beyond commerce and is an integral part of everyone's life. We are grateful to them for recognizing this, and I thank the area director and general manager of the Taj, Mr. Yousuf, Salim Youssef, and his team in particular for the great hospitality that's being provided for our guests and for this event. Finally, I'd like to thank you all very much again for coming here today. The festival's strength comes from people like you who have kept the faith with us. We at the Hindu are greatly enthused by this response, and we are happy to report it grows each year. We hope that the 3 days of Literature for Life will indeed throw some light your way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Lakshman. I request Mr. N. Ram to deliver the inaugural address.
Let me first convey my Pongal greetings to everyone here. And I think it's a wonderful way of celebrating achievements in the world of literature. Much better to have a literary festival in honor during Pongal than Jallikattu, which the Supreme Court has found to be inherently cruel, a cruel practice, which flies in the name of tradition, culture, religion, and so on. So we're very happy that this is Pongal season and this literary festival pays due honor to it. Before, as Nirmala mentioned or hinted, there were some questions about holding this festival at this time in the aftermath of the calamitous floods. And these floods were caused by an extreme act of nature, but they were also human-made, as the press has been pointing out. But in the wake of these calamitous floods in Chennai, which took away many lives and also devastated the lives of many who have survived, would it be right to go ahead with a literary festival? The question was not as acute as the question raised before the Chennai music season, the Margari festival, where some musicians and dancers said that it would be inappropriate to hold the music season given what had happened. That was immediately after it, but I think the organizers of the Music Academy and the other music associations, Sabhas, rightly decided that it would be inappropriate to stop the festival because, as everyone knows, music has the power to cope, to help people to cope and to heal. And you can say much the same thing about literature, and I think the festival director Nirmala, Lakshman, and others made the right call, and also our CEO and MD, Rajiv Lochan, made the right call to go ahead as before with this festival. I don't have to dwell on the Hindus Association and support for literature, what we learned from it, the benefits from literature that have come from these associations. But for those who do not know anything about the history of the Hindu, we are probably the oldest surviving newspaper, or at least significant newspaper in the freedom movement tradition in India. The Hindu was founded on September 20, 1878, and is still, I think, going strong. And literature has always been a part of the effort. Today, the Hindu carries a story about N. Raghunathan, who I would rate as, I don't know anyone who was a more brilliant editorial writer, but today the report speaks to his literary side. He was also a short story writer in Tamil, and that has happened. So this has happened for a long time. We've had some wonderful writers. R.K. Narayan practically began his literary career as a short story writer in the Hindu, and it went on for several years. He also wrote for the Illustrated Weekly, Times of India, and so on. But his association with journalism is not very well known, even to the critics. They know he wrote essays and so on, but the long-term association with newspapers and the world of newspapers, which also figure in his novels, I think the Hindu has every reason to be proud that we were very much part of the growth, the rise and development of this writer. Not that we gave him anything, but I think it manifested itself, his literary genius, in the columns of the Hindu, first in the form of short stories, many of which are well known and in collections. And in another area, we have Jack Fingleton. Didn't have much formal education. Some of you, many of you, I don't know how many of you had heard of Jack Fingleton. He was a good cricketer, a stodgy batsman, not in the Bradman mold, a fierce opponent of Donald Bradman, and set some records as well. But it was his literary contribution that I think is much more significant than his cricket, Test cricket. And Fingleton, for decades, was the Hindu's star cricket correspondent. And in our archives, which have been digitized, we have a corpus of wonderful writings on cricket. Cricket writing of a literary kind, literary journalism in the field of cricket, if you like. And there are many such examples, including more recent writers like Arundhati Roy and various others. And we are very proud that the Hindu Literary Supplement is probably the main, if not the only, supplement of its kind devoted exclusively to literature and books. And we have kept it going. I must remark here on the decline of space for books and reviews in the Indian press at large. And this is very unfortunate. Publishers have complained to us, and I think it's often a struggle to find space because pagination or pages have come under pressure, and it's easy to sacrifice book reviews for whatever reason. I think this trend ought to be countered, and one way of doing it, I think, is to honor literature, to center stage literature, at least in the feature sections, supplements, and so on. The Hindu festival this is its 6th edition, and from the beginning, I think we are clear we are not going to lower the bar, and I think it aimed high. A lot of people worked on it. There was a lot of teamwork, but it also required some imagination and vision to put this together and to stage literary festivals going over a few days and to be able to sustain that level of interest among people who are passionate about literature, but also others who are curious about it, or some who come because they've read that the star writer has come and so on. Whatever be the reason, I think these festivals are a wonderful thing. And the Jaipur Literary Festival is world famous, and I think the Hindu Literary Festival also wants to go that way. in its own way, and even as sections of the older generation bemoan the decline of the reading habit, there is an upsurge in book publishing. Yesterday I participated in an event at the Pongal book fair. It's a trade fair, but that trade fair, a book fair, but that book fair also had discussions every day. And you just have to walk past the stalls to see a large number of young people who are, this is mostly in Tamil, and I asked about Alexander McCall Smith's latest release in India, and they said they were eagerly awaiting it in some of the bookstalls. I learned that some of his books are also available in Tamil translations. I don't know how many of us, I didn't know that till yesterday when we had a chance to spend a few hours with Alexander McCall Smith and his wife Elizabeth, and I learned a great deal from that. So these festivals are a great learning experience for all the people who come to it, including those who stage it, including journalists, including newspapers, various others who have a role in staging a festival, which I think is a very challenging and complex thing. I read a report in the press that last year there were some 60 festivals, literary festivals of some significance in various parts of India. I have no idea whether that number is accurate, but it seems to be reasonably, that's the kind of ballpark that one would think of, and this is growing. It doesn't speak to the decline of the reading habit or decline of interest in literature. Just, I think we have to find new ways of engaging readers and the audience in these discussions, and I think that's very important. The literary world is full of surprises, puzzles, unanswered questions, and unanswerable questions. For example, I mentioned R.K. Narayan's journalism, which took off really in the columns of The Hindu. He was a very considerable journalist, lifelong. This was a lifelong pursuit, although he started out in a letter to Graham Greene by referring to his journalistic work as a little pot boiling, which tired him and so on, but he went on and on right up to his late 80s as a journalist. When will Arundhati Roy's second novel come out after her Tiger Woodsian debut? To quote John Updike in a review, when will Vikram Seth finish his follow-up great Indian novel, which the literary press has taken to calling A Suitable Girl? And what is Alexander McCall Smith's word rate? Can any of you answer that question other than two people here? Third is me. I asked this question and the answer was 1,000 words an hour. I couldn't believe my ears that when he's at work, when he's in flow, 1,000 words an hour is the word rate of many of us hacks. But here is a literary writer, a world-famous literary writer, one of my favorite writers who does that, brings out 4 or 5 books every year, breaking the rules, as he put it to us yesterday. And these are, I think, surprising things that you learn. Finally, I want to say a few words on literary journalism, in which I think, to which Hindu has made some contribution. It's very important. The subject revolves around fiction, fact, and the porous line. And I think what stands out in the work of the best exponents of this genre is the porousness of the line between fact and fiction. We see it in some of R.K. Narayan's essays, The Reluctant Guru and The Misguided Guide in particular. Some celebrated exponents of the new journalism and the non-fiction novel have been shown up by spoilsport, fact-checking researchers to have invented conversations, sources, color, incidents, action sequences, and even characters to enhance the power and dramatic appeal of their work. But I think most of us would agree that when literary genius bestows its gifts on the world of ceaseless busyness and haste, which is journalism, it would be churlish to expect a journalism of fact-mindedness and record to be the outcome. So I think we want, one can look at a definition of literary journalism as some kind of imaginative search along the porous line for some, what one would call some inner verities in a field that is often professionally resistant to such a quest. And I think the Hindu is very much in the process of experimenting in this genre in some of its feature section, and for that our festival director, I think she's quite familiar with this, and I think some of the conversations in these literary festivals, and particularly in our literary festival, revolve around this theme. So it's not just about literature in the narrow sense. When you talk literature, you move to culture, you go to music, you go to folk theater, you go to other languages, especially Tamil in our part of the world. And I think these things make what the Hindu Literary Festival, or Lit for Life, what it has become. We have a long way to go. I think there are many limitations when you stage a festival here, but I think, even if I say so, I think this project has done the world of literature proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ram. I invite Mr. Salim Youssef to say a few words.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I think Mr. Ram asked me why I'm not sitting here. I think the answer to that is I was wanting to admire him from a distance. I think it's a matter of great pride for the city of Chennai to be part of this yet another edition of this literary fest. And my compliments to the team at Hindu for putting together an event of this magnitude, which brings on one platform, I think, some of the finest names in the world of literature. And for us at the Taj in Chennai and the Taj Coromandel, which has been a part of this vibrant city for about 4 decades and more, it's a great honor to be associated with this event, and I would like to thank Mr. Ram and his team for giving us this opportunity. And it's a great pride for us to have, I think, some of the finest names in the world of literature, journalism, politics to walk through our corridors. And I wish each one of you in the audience today a very enriching experience over the next 3 days in this literary fest. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Mr. Yousuf. May I now request Mr. Rajiv Lochan to give his remarks on the festival.
Patrons of literature, friends and well-wishers of the Hindu group, fellow citizens of my Chennai, first of all, happy Pongal, happy Sankranti to all of you. It's my distinct pleasure to welcome all of you to this edition of Lit for Life. As the festival director and the chairman of Kasturi & Sons already mentioned, this is yet another testimony of our commitment, long-standing commitment to literature, arts and culture. I am relatively new to the Hindu group, but I have quickly integrated very well. And I have the unique opportunity to be part of a transformation that the Hindu group is going through in order to serve, first and foremost, our readers, and secondly, the citizens in the communities in which we operate. December gave us an unfortunate but important opportunity to reaffirm our commitment to the city of Chennai, where we were born and where we've thrived for the last 137 years. And while I hope that none of us in our lifetimes ever has to face another calamity of this nature, the Hindu group had the opportunity to rise to the occasion and serve our communities in a manner that I am certainly very proud of. Operation Chennai Rising, as we called it, collected nearly 100 tons of relief materials from all over the state of Tamil Nadu and also from neighboring states and cities. and we were able to serve about 130,000 families in their dire hour of need. Also, the remarkable citizens of the country contributed generously to a fund that we set up to help rehabilitate the city and the citizens that were ravaged. And we've collected, I'm happy to report, almost 3 crores of rupees in a short span of time. Thanks to your generosity, thanks to your support, we will ensure that we put it to good use and periodically report to you how those funds are being utilized. But for me, this is a lesson for all of us at the Hindu group on how we need to transform ourselves and operate, placing our readers and our citizens first and foremost. And at a time when the tectonic shifts in technology and the digital era seem to be signaling the end of print, certainly the end of newspapers, we are actually energized at the relevance of print, at the importance of print, and we will strive very hard to ensure that print survives for yet another 137 years the way it has in the Hindu group for the last 137, and I'm sure much longer as well. One final word before I close and open up the festival. As I said, we are transforming, putting our readers and our citizens first and foremost. So the only way we can transform is by listening to you, by hearing your advice, by carefully absorbing any criticisms that you might have. So I would welcome any thoughts, any inputs, any ideas, any criticisms from all of you here that will help us serve you and serve our fellow citizens better. You can reach out to us in a variety of different forms, and I won't bore you with all the different ways in which you can write, email, tweet, so on and so forth. But please do stay in touch with us. It's the only way we can get better at what we do and serve you even more. In closing, on behalf of the festival director, the board of directors of Kasturi & Sons, I want to thank the eminent set of authors, writers, and literary giants who have chosen to grace our festival. The team that has worked very hard at the Hindu group to put this festival together, and above all of you for taking your valuable time to be part of this celebration of literature and helping Chennai regain its spirit. We at the Hindu group rededicate ourselves to the citizens and the wonderful city of Chennai, my home. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajiv. I now request the dignitaries to take their seats in the auditorium. With this, we end the inaugural ceremony. We have a great lineup of sessions over the next 3 days with some brilliant speakers, artists, filmmakers, and thinkers. So do enjoy yourselves. I now request my colleague, R. Kritika, to take over.
Thank you, Shalini. And now, finally, the moment we've all been waiting for, the first session of the Hindu Lit for Life 2016. May I request LudmillaLakshman to come on stage to introduce our keynote speaker, Omar Abdullah.